The order of your life determines the outcome of your life. Many people spend years chasing after provision, money, opportunities, connections, comfort, thinking that once they secure these things, they will finally feel fulfilled, safe, and at peace. But that's a backward formula. You cannot expect lasting provision when your priorities are misplaced. Provision is not the root, it's the fruit. If you want the right fruit, you have to plant the right seed in the right soil in the right order. And the very first seed is to put the eternal before the temporary. When you seek first the things that matter to God, His kingdom, His ways, His purpose for your life, you step into an order that heaven recognizes. It's like aligning yourself with the blueprint the Creator wrote for you before you were even born. In that order, your steps begin to connect with opportunities you didn't have to manipulate to get. Doors begin to open that you didn't have to knock down. The right relationships show up without you forcing them. Why? Because when you focus on the eternal first, the temporary stops being a burden you have to drag around and starts being a blessing that follows you. People get stuck because they think if they can just work harder, network more, or hustle longer, then life will finally give them what they've been looking for. But here's the truth. When you run after provision without first establishing your priorities, you'll always feel like you're missing something. You may even achieve success in the eyes of the world, but you'll carry an emptiness on the inside because you built your life on shifting sand instead of solid rock. And shifting sand feels good at first, it's soft, it's comfortable, but it doesn't hold up in a storm. Putting the eternal before the temporary means asking yourself every day, what am I really building? Am I chasing things that won't matter 5 years from now, or am I investing in things that will echo into eternity? It's not about ignoring the realities of bills, business, or daily responsibilities. It's about making sure those things don't take first place. When God's order is your order, those needs get handled without you making them the center of your focus. Think of it like this. A tree doesn't strain to produce fruit. It focuses on staying rooted in the right soil, drawing the right nutrients, staying connected to its life source. The fruit is the natural result. In the same way, when your priority is the eternal, when you stay rooted in God's truth, His principles, His purpose, the fruit of provision is inevitable. You don't have to manipulate, compete, or live in scarcity mode because the source of your provision is not limited. The challenge for most people is that the temporary screams louder than the eternal. Urgent things shout for your attention. Deadlines, bills, opportunities, fears. Eternal things whisper, peace, purpose, integrity, faith. And in the noise of life, it's easy to chase what shouts instead of protecting what whispers. But if you live by the shout, you'll always feel pressured, always reactive, always behind. When you live by the whisper, you're anchored, steady, and clear, even in chaos. Provision comes from the provider, not the provision itself. If you mix that order up, you'll spend your life serving the wrong master. But when you seek first the kingdom, when you let God's order become your order, you step into a flow where provision finds you instead of you chasing it. That doesn't mean you sit still and do nothing. It means your actions are now fueled by clarity, guided by wisdom, and empowered by favor you couldn't buy. Life is not about how much you can grab, but about how well you can receive what's already been set aside for you. And the way you receive is by getting the order right. Put the eternal before the temporary. Make your decisions through the lens of purpose, not panic. Build your schedule around your values, not just your obligations. Protect the time that feeds your spirit before you commit to the things that drain it. When you get this right, you stop living like a beggar and start walking like an heir. You stop worrying about whether the next opportunity will show up because you know the one who controls every opportunity. You stop trying to force outcomes because you trust that the outcome is already in motion. The order matters, priority before provision. Get the order right, and everything else will find its place. If you want, I can now write the next expanded step in the same deep, motivational flow so it forms a full connected speech. That way, your audience hears a seamless message. There's a powerful truth most people overlook. You don't get clarity by thinking harder. You get clarity by aligning deeper. Too many of us are trying to figure out our purpose like it's a puzzle we can solve by gathering enough pieces. We read books, attend seminars, make endless plans, and still end up stuck. wondering why the next step feels blurry. But here's the secret. Clarity isn't something you chase. It's something that shows up when your life is in alignment with God's order. Think about a car's wheels. If they're misaligned, you can still drive, but the ride will be rough, the tires will wear unevenly, and you'll constantly have to correct your steering. You'll waste energy just trying to stay straight. That's what life feels like when you're out of alignment. You keep moving, but everything takes more effort, and you can't seem to hold the course for long. But when your wheels are aligned, you can relax your grip on the wheel, because the car naturally stays on track. The same is true for your life. When you align yourself with God's principles, His timing, and His priorities, you no longer have to force every outcome. Your steps are guided without the constant strain. Alignment is not about perfection, it's about position. You can't receive the right assignment if you're standing in the wrong place. Imagine a coach handing out plays on the field. If you're off in the stands, you won't hear the call, no matter how much you want to be part of the game. But when you're in position, close to the coach, ready to listen, the assignment finds you. God works the same way. He's not hiding your purpose from you. He's calling you to a place of alignment where you can hear Him clearly. When you're aligned, decisions that once felt complicated become obvious. Things you used to debate endlessly suddenly have a clear yes or no. You're no longer paralyzed by overthinking because you trust that your steps are part of a bigger plan. That doesn't mean you'll know the whole map. It means you'll know the next turn. And sometimes that's all you need to move forward with confidence. The world teaches us to chase assignments without caring about alignment. We pick careers for the paycheck, relationships for convenience, opportunities for status, and then wonder why they leave us empty. But when you live in alignment, you don't just do things because they look good. You do them because they fit the assignment God has given you. You start saying no to good things so you can say yes to the right things. Here's the thing, alignment often requires adjustment. You can't keep living the same way, making the same compromises, and expect to suddenly walk in clarity. Sometimes alignment means letting go of habits that keep you distracted. Sometimes it means stepping away from relationships that keep you in the wrong environment. Other times, it means rearranging your schedule so you can give your best energy to the things that matter most. It's not always comfortable, but it's always worth it. When you're in alignment, you'll notice a shift in how you move through life. You won't have to force opportunities. They'll seem to meet you in your path. You won't constantly feel like you're swimming upstream because the current of God's grace will be carrying you. And here's the most beautiful part. Your assignment won't just be about you. It will serve others. True assignments always extend beyond your own benefit. They're designed to impact people, solve problems, and reflect God's character to the world. Alignment removes confusion because confusion thrives in disorder. When your values, decisions, and actions are all pulling in different directions, your life feels chaotic. But when those pieces all point toward the same purpose, you gain focus, momentum, and peace. You wake up with a sense of direction instead of dread. You stop wasting years wandering in circles because now every step has meaning. God's assignments aren't random, they're tailored. They match your gifts, your experiences, and even your struggles. But you'll only discover that fit when you're in the right place spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. When you align with His order, you're essentially tuning the frequency of your life to hear His signal clearly. And once you hear it, you can move with authority, knowing you're not just chasing your own plans. You're walking in a divine strategy. So stop trying to skip the alignment process and jump straight to the assignment. Slow down and check your position. Ask yourself, am I in the place where I can hear and receive clearly? Are my priorities in the right order? Am I living in a way that reflects trust in God's timing? Because when you get the alignment right, the assignment will find you, and it will fit you in ways you never thought possible. If you want, I can also expand overflow follows obedience in the same deep and motivational tone, so all three steps connect like one complete speech. That would give you a powerful, seamless flow. There's a rhythm to how God works in the lives of His people, and it doesn't start with chasing, it starts with obeying. Most of us have been trained by the world to run after abundance, to hustle, to grind, to grab at every opportunity before someone else does. But the kingdom operates on a different principle. In God's economy, you don't have to chase overflow. Overflow finds you when you're standing where God told you to stand. Obedience is not about blind compliance, it's about trust. It's the decision to believe that the one giving the instruction sees more than you do, knows more than you do, and cares more than you do. And when you follow his direction, even if it doesn't make sense in the moment, you position yourself under the flow of his provision. Think of it like a waterfall. You can't control the water, but you can choose to stand where it's pouring. If you're in the right spot, you can't help but get drenched. We live in a time where more is always the goal. More money, more influence, more possessions. But overflow in the kingdom isn't measured by how much you can collect. It's measured by how much God can trust you to steward, and the way you show you're trustworthy is through obedience. Sometimes that obedience will lead you to take bold action. Other times it will lead you to wait when everything in you wants to rush. Either way, the blessing is tied to the obedience, not the busyness. One of the biggest traps people fall into is thinking they can create overflow on their own. They push themselves into burnout trying to produce results they were never meant to produce by themselves. But overflow is a byproduct, not a project. You don't manufacture it. You align with it, and alignment comes through obedience. If God says move, you move. If he says stay, you stay. If he says give, you give. Every step of obedience is a seed, and every seed carries the potential for a harvest far greater than what you planted. Here's the part that's hard for most people. Obedience often requires letting go of your own plan. It may mean walking away from something that looks promising because you know it's not where God called you. It may mean investing your time and energy into something that doesn't seem profitable right now, but will bear fruit later. It may even mean choosing integrity when compromise would make things easier. Every time you choose obedience over convenience, you're choosing long-term blessing over short-term gain, and the overflow that follows obedience is different from the abundance the world offers. The world's abundance comes with strings. It demands constant upkeep, endless striving, and often leaves you empty inside. God's overflow, on the other hand, comes with peace. It doesn't just fill your hands, it fills your heart. It strengthens your relationships, deepens your joy, and gives you resources to bless others. It's not something you have to fight to keep. It's something that flows naturally as long as you remain in the place He's called you to. If you look through Scripture, you'll see this pattern over and over again. Noah obeyed and built the ark, even though it had never rained like that before, and he and his family were saved. Abraham obeyed and left his homeland without knowing the full destination, and became the father of many nations. Peter obeyed and cast his net again, even after catching nothing all night, and the net overflowed with fish. In every case, the blessing wasn't in the idea, it was in the act of obedience. Obedience also positions you for sustainability. Some people get abundance but can't keep it because they gained it outside of God's order. When you obey your way into overflow, you also receive the wisdom, character, and discipline to maintain it. That's why some blessings seem to last while others fade quickly. The lasting ones were built on obedience. And here's the beauty of overflow. It's never just for you. God doesn't bless you so you can hoard. He blesses you so you can be a channel. When your cup overflows, it spills into the lives of others. Your obedience becomes the reason someone else experiences provision, encouragement, or hope. That's why chasing overflow for your own benefit will always leave you unsatisfied, but receiving overflow as a result of obedience will make you truly fulfilled. So if you want true abundance, stop running after it and start running toward obedience. Ask yourself, am I standing where God told me to stand? Am I doing what He told me to do? Because when you're in the right place doing the right thing at the right time, you can't stop the blessing from coming. It will find you, it will overtake you, it will pour into your life in ways you couldn't have planned, and it will keep pouring as long as you remain in position. Overflow follows obedience every single time. If you want, I can now blend all three expanded steps into a single, seamless, high-impact motivational speech so it flows like one complete delivery that would make it stage ready.